Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto anime review. This one is going to be for episode 241. This was an interesting episode because they did finally reveal some of the kind of more mysterious aspects of what's going on in the arc in terms of, oh, here is the power of the Fanato clan finally, being told about it, the power of the sea dragon. And this is what all the members of the clan, or I'm not sure if they mean like specifically it's like Amaru's family, or if it is something more just related to the clan, or they have some ritual related to it. Like, is it a KK Genkai, like a bloodline ability, or not? But I'm guessing it's more related to the family overall. So, that was interesting, and like obviously because of that, we got Ikada's backstory. Which was effectively that on the day he was to discover his powers, he was thrown into the sea, and his powers were revealed to effectively be the most powerful, but it not really being known what they were, because afterwards there's no obvious suggestion that he kind of has powers. So he has this sort of latent potential to have the most powerful, power of the sea dragon, but that's where it ends. He doesn't have the sort of like almost like guild marks or whatever they are meant to be, that the others have, designating what their powers are. So that's obviously something that I guess will come out in all of this. We have some sense for what it is, and that it can give him the webbed hands and so on. He can swim like in crazy currents and stuff like that. So we're still waiting to see what it is. I'm guessing we'll get the others, what their power is first, and then that will help to, guide us on the path of realizing, oh, so Ikado, when he reveals how powerful his power is, we'll see just how kind of crazy it actually is. So this happened because his sister came to visit him and, basically brought all this up. Now, interestingly, his sister goes in disguise to meet him, which I'm guessing is so she can act in her normal look without him realizing it's her. But it's a weird one, because I think visually he would still know it's his sister, just with different hair, because the whole kind of markings and like her using the powers, the kind of unique eyes they have. So I'm not sure how effective that disguise is, or if there's more of a reason behind why that disguise is actually in place. Because I can sort of see what the logic is, but then it also feels like, wait, is this disguise actually meant to work? So I'm wondering what the deal is there. With his sister, they did get across that even though she seems to be the more reasonable one, in that she actually sort of stood up for Ikada as he left, she also does seem to have like a kind of cruelty streak here, in that she cut down that guy at the start of the episode, no problem. And she did begin to get very, very angry at her brother towards the end here, and really sort of, laying the sort of guilt on about the clan. It's all about the clan. You need to help the clan with your powers. So Ikada is going to, I guess, be pushed to join up, and we'll see what decision he ends up making. So that's decent, I think, on that side of things. The other main focus from this episode was our three ninja swordsmen here. We find out that they're kind of thinking, oh, I wonder how much our sentences are going to be reduced. And Heavy Chigo is the one who most heavily is leaning in the direction of maybe we'll be fully pardoned. Whereas I think the others more expect that, no, we'll still have to stay in prison. Like, I don't think the reduction is going to be that heavy. Kagura gets the scroll from the mist confirming that their sentence is going to be reduced by 3. Now, I don't believe in this episode they said what their sentence actually was. I looked it up elsewhere, and I think they had previously said it was 10 years. So their sentence is down to 7, I guess. But it might be less because time has passed. But the idea is that they still have to do, 5-ish years still in prison, and they kind of, I suppose they would have been more happy if they maybe only had to do like a year or 2, but the fact that it probably is more like 5 plus is a problem. Now, it is Heavy Chigo who is the one who solely seems to have a major problem with this. The others seem a little bit more accepting of this, to the point where she decides that we're going to break out, and the only way we can break out is if we get rid of the curse mark, and the only way to get rid of that really is to kill Kagura. And she seemingly makes her mind up to do just that and tries to convince the others to join her, but neither of them do. So interestingly, Buntan is the one they sort of focus on in terms of the dynamic, because the other guy doesn't have too much character. She flashes back to Kagura saving her from a previous episode, and him calling them all his precious friends. So Heavy Chigo feels that Kagura is only doing sort of like the bare minimum in this. He just wants their help and doesn't really care about them, and so isn't necessarily fighting for them to be released or anything like that, when actually he does care about them a lot. The whole reason any of this is even happening is because he does care about them, and she, I suppose, is just going to have to come to accept that. Now they have a brief assassination attempt where, of course, Kagura is able to reverse it, and kind of tries to argue with her, but she runs away. But very interestingly, the episode ends with her sort of out at the kind of pier, and she sees the Fanato coming in to attack because, of course, Ikada's sister mentioned earlier on in the episode that they're going to come that night for him, and that at the end they say like they're only going to leave one person alive, which I guess is Ikada, perhaps, especially when she realizes that the Leaf Shinobi are there. So the thing with Heavy Chigo is she going to see this as a threat and actually kind of realize, wait, I actually kind of care about these people, I need to warn them to save them? Or does she decide that, hey, I can use this as an opportunity to get one over on Kagura, in that he'll be busy fighting to defend the island, and I can use that as an opportunity to like guarantee his death and thus guarantee the freedom? I still think the way they will go with this is that all three of them will make the right decision. So I think Heavy Chigo will ultimately make the right decision. I think she might still go down the path of doing some scheming, but eventually in the middle of the battle, I think Kagura will probably end up saying something similar to what he said to around Buntan, and she will realize that, you know, he cares for her, and we'll get that sort of dynamic. You know, maybe the other two will say something to her that actually like more hits home with her, but I think that will end up happening. And the other point is obviously that the mission isn't over yet. They're still involved in this. They've got a 3-year reduction based on what they've done sort of so far. If crazy stuff happens and they are key to resolving this, I can see them getting like a further reduction on their sentence, or it being changed that like they are now kind of Kagura's subordinates, and once he's with them they can go wherever, but they're still kind of maybe under like house arrest or something like that. I can see them doing something like that. But I do still wonder how in depth they are going to go into the kind of backstory with those three and what exactly is going on. But we look to be finally getting into the action next time out. So what was set up from this episode of the sister attacking is actually going to happen next time out. I am intrigued to see what they do with regard to the fact that she does, you know, put on a different like hair, you know, wig or whatever, and she acts roughly the same. It's just she changes the style a little bit, but I think he's going to know it's her, even in the other outfit. So I'm not really sure what's going on with this. So that's basically everything I think that happened in this episode. There was a brief scene, I suppose, Kagura and Kawaki talking, that they connected, I suppose, the idea there of like Boruto helped me in a similar way to sort of like Boruto has helped you. So they're trying to kind of point out that Kagura and Kawaki are sort of similar in some ways, and that was kind of interesting. I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to do with Kawaki on this arc, in that like Kawaki also brought up the idea that what about you? Why are you a prison warden? Like, you're so skilled. Like, why are you a prison warden? And he's like, oh, I want to do it. So again, it still feels like there's bits of character arcs that still need to be resolved. But overall, it was good for, what it was. Some of the reveals were decent. I'm excited to see what the Sea Dragon powers actually are. Is it going to be more full, sort of like kind of fish kind of transformation style stuff? Is it going to be like just crazy water style jutsu, or a different type of power that allows them to control water or something like that? So we'll see about that. But that has been my thoughts on the episode. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts are. But that has been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.